Hey, what's up, everybody? It's just Charles Sabanson, and welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment. We give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a pretty interesting show for you guys. Before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. And also, if you're not following us on the DREAMERSPRO podcast, be sure to do that. We have that pin in the comment section below. Let me get into this topic here. So as you guys know, it's been about a week now, just under a week, and the Lakers have been eliminated from the playoffs. And here we are again, once again, talking about the Lakers. It was something that occurred last year, something that Mike Malone and others like Charles Barkley and others complained about. But just going to talk about the Lakers. And now that they fired Darvin Ham, they're going to be the talk of the town. Even though we have playoff games that are happening concurrently, we're still going to talk about the Lakers. So what happened? Yesterday, I tuned into a segment of First Things First, the show, the FS1 show featuring Chris Broussard, Kevin Wiles, and Nick Wright. And as you guys know, Nick Wright is the resident LeBron Lakers guy. So they're talking about what happened, and they're talking about the news surrounding Darvin Ham being let go by the Los Angeles Lakers via a telephone call, funny enough, by Rob Pelinka, according to Adrian Wojnarowski's reporting on his Twitter page yesterday. That when we did the live, that's what he said. So they're talking about that, and Nick Wright is saying this, and he's saying that, and he's saying this, and he's saying that. And you can see Kevin Wiles just sitting back a little bit uncomfortably, but just listening to Nick listening. So then it gets to the point where Nick starts to try to solicit an answer, like a response or an opinion from Kevin Wiles to the subject matter. And Kevin initially was like, no, I don't want to talk about it. But then eventually he was able to coax him to go out there and actually say something. And when it came time for Kevin Wiles to address the topic at hand, he basically came from the standpoint of, well, Nick, listen, if you knew that the Lakers were plagued with all of these issues, why did you then go out there and say they were going to win the title? Why was it every single week when they were talking about the title pie, you always used to give them this big slice of the pie? If you knew all of these things, why were you out here promoting them? And then Nick Wright started to push back on him. And I thought it was a pretty interesting exchange. And I'm beginning to enjoy these exchanges between Nick Wright and Kevin Wiles because he's beginning to come a counterbalance to some of the stuff that Nick Wright says on that show. But before we even get into this commentary, this video is brought to you by our sponsor, PrizePicks, which is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. PrizePicks is really simple. Instead of just selecting a team, you just select two or more players, pick more or less their projected stats, and then you place your entry. For example, this week, I'm selecting two entries. Stephen Curry for more than 25 points, and then I got Anthony Davis for more than 2 blocks, and Damian Lillard for more than 4 3-pointers made. PrizePicks is also the only daily sports platform with an injury insurance policy. So for example, if you have a player who gets injured in the first half and doesn't return to the second half, that player gets automatically rebooted. What I also love about PrizePicks is that it offers weekly promotions like Taco Tuesdays. Each Tuesday, PrizePicks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value. So go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match of up to $100. That's go to prizepicks.com/CLNS, use code CLNS for a first deposit match of up to $100. And remember, whenever you support this sponsor, you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So what we want to do is want to play exactly what these two gentlemen had to say to each other yesterday on First Things First, and then we're going to come back and react to their commentary. Take a listen to that there.
No, you have a good tweet. I saw it in your prep that I think actually speaks to the problems.
I know, but because that supports your take. I don't want to start a fight this early in the day.
No, go. But
it's 3 o'clock.
But you're hold on. Wait, you're
tiger.
You gotta keep.
Hold on. I got him caged.
Hold on.
I got him caged.
Then all you.
He's just sitting there licking his paws.
What is the tweet? I didn't see
can we put up?
I haven't
no, this is Bill's tweet I wrote.
Bill Simmons.
Here's we're
talking about the front office moves. It was Bill Simmons' tweet, but go ahead.
Okay. Then you shouldn't have picked them to succeed this year. If that's the way you felt about the front office, and they shouldn't have had a big piece of title pie, and you shouldn't have picked Lakers in 6 over the Nuggets, because all the issues that you talked about existed before everyone had all of this optimism. And then once it went down the tubes, as some people could see, yours truly, all of a sudden it switches and be like, man, we needed Alex Caruso. Well, you didn't need him 2 weeks ago,
No, that's-
when the Lakers in 7 was trending, and they had a big slice of title pie, and LeBron can make a run at a championship, and you're saying they're the second best team. So now it's all switched, and poor Rob Pelinka is like, oh shoot, I shouldn't have traded KCP 7 years ago.
No. So hold on, but these are. I guess this is where this, and it's not going to start a fight.
Okay.
But this is where multiple ideas can be held in someone's head at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I believed this was not a very well-coached team and a poorly constructed second half of the roster. I'm not calling, you know what I mean?
But you thought it was going to win the championship?
Well, I never picked them to win the championship. I said I picked them to beat the Denver Nuggets going into this series, is what I did. I made the mistake of, I guess mistake is fair, of being like, you know what? I believe this is the greatest player I've ever seen. He's healthy, and I think he's going to have one last amazing act in him. And he's going to, despite all of that, for instance, Wilds, the 2018 Cleveland Cavaliers were one of the most poorly put together teams I've seen. I thought the Kyrie Irving trade was a joke what they got back from him. They remade the roster on the fly in it. I picked that team to go to the finals because I thought LeBron could carry him. He did.
The East was weak.
And the East was weak, and LeBron was brilliant. It did not mean that at the end of that year I couldn't say, Kobe Altman, you did a bad job. Yeah. And now that team I thought was well coached by Ty Lue. And this is where the point on, and Brew's point on the in-season tournament, or when people like Vogel won a championship. Sometimes you can overcome coaching. Sometimes people can even believe you will overcome coaching.
So you heard the exchange between the two of them. Kevin Wiles is speaking to something that I myself don't particularly understand why certain voices in media do this. I don't know. Maybe some people like taking the Laker fans for a ride. I don't know why. Or maybe it's just sheer delusion. I don't know exactly what it is, right? And you see this a lot in media. You see people like, of course, Shannon Sharp. You see people like Gilbert Arenas to a certain extent. You see people like Nick Wright, who oversell the Lakers, knowing damn well that they don't have what it takes to, for example, be NBA champions. Like when Nick Wright was talking about the title pie and all, I'm like, you can't be serious. You can't be seriously picking the Lakers against ahead of the Minnesota Timberwolves or the Denver Nuggets or the Boston. So like, you cannot be serious. But nevertheless, these people do this, and what ends up happening is that some gullible Laker fans end up buying into their nonsense, and then they start believing it. Like just this morning I was listening to a segment on Speak, and they were discussing what the Lakers should do and their chances of winning now that they've gotten rid of Darvin Ham. And then I forgot the gentleman's name. Maybe I can find, let me see if I can find it, because I was just listening to it just a few moments ago. Well, I'll hunt it down a little bit later. But anyway, they were talking, and then he gets into, as long as the Lakers have LeBron and AD, they're going to be all right. As long as they got that. I'm like, this is the nonsense that you guys spew every single day. There are a lot of teams that have, I could say, as long as Jamal Murray got, as long as Kawhi Leonard healthy and Paul George is there, as long as Ant-Man and Rudy Gobert and Cal, like, this is something you could say about a lot of teams, right? But for whatever reason, they end up overselling the Lakers, and then when they lose, they all of a sudden now start getting upset. Oh, what happened? How did it go wrong? Where did we go wrong? You know, is this guy's fault? Is that guy's fault? And we now get into this big analysis of what took place and all of that. And it's like, if you felt this way, you shouldn't have said that. For example, I'll give you guys an example with the Clippers. I thought that the Clippers could win round one, but I tempered my prediction. I said, listen, if Kawhi Leonard is not there, I'm not 100% sure that's going to take place. I'm not one of those people. No, we go to Nick Wright was the one that said about a few years ago, all they need is LeBron James, and even if Anthony Davis is there, they're going to beat the Phoenix Suns in round one. And guess what happened? They lost. All they need is LeBron. That's Nick Wright, always overselling and then when the thing that doesn't come to fruition, he'll now start saying, oh, these are the problems that they had. I've told you this problem. I told you that problem. And Kevin Wiles like, so then why were you overselling them this entire time, right? And that's a good point. But people continuously do it anyway. Look at Gilbert Arenas. Lakers are going to win in 7. And they lose. Oh, Darvin Ham ain't this. Darvin Ham ain't that. Like, so why'd you pick him to win in 7? Why'd you pick them? Why were we up here twerking it up all over the place, knocking over people's drinks, slapping each other with honey, running up and down the corridors, shouting and screaming? And then when you don't get the result that you want, all of a sudden, oh my God, this is the problem. That's the problem. This has been the problem. Like, come on, man. enough is enough. And I think that's the point that Kevin Wiles was speaking to. So these are my thoughts. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts in the comment section. We catch you on the next show. Peace.